have you seen her? I've been dreaming about the girl next door. Get a feeling like I'm cheating when I'm dreaming because I love you more. Natalina, have you seen her? I've been dreaming about the girl next door. Get a feeling like I'm cheating when I'm dreaming because I love you more. Na 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 na, Natalina, na 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 na, Natalina, Natalina, have you seen her? I've been dreaming about the girl next door. Get a feeling like I'm cheating when I'm dreaming because I love you more. Na 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 na, Natalina, na 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 na, Natalina, Natalina, have you seen her? I've been dreaming about the girl next door. Natalina, have you seen her? I've been dreaming about the girl next door. Get a feeling like I'm cheating when I'm dreaming because I love you.